Alright, we'll try that. Is anything working? The subtitles aren't working. That's so typical. I literally just turn off. Hi everyone, sorry, I'm trying out something and I broke it immediately just as that before I went streaming. Let me double check. I might just try this. Can I refresh? Let's refresh that, see if that happens. It might turn up, it might not. I know they've got the subtitles up on there, so that's all good. What up, circles? It's your friend Triangle here, working on the tech stuff. I'm sure that sometimes the subtitles comes back, sometimes they don't. It'll be great. Oh yes, always tinkering. You know it. You love it. You know it. I'm going to try this thing. Oh yes. I mean, it was working earlier, so I don't understand exactly what I've done. It's always the way, isn't it? It's always the way. Anyway, I'm just going to stop. Oh, there you go. See. Turns out, just go back into the thing. I'll close all these windows. Hello, everyone. Hello, my name is Fiona. I use she/her pronouns, and I am a white woman with sort of like mid-length blondie brownie hair, depending on how you go about it. You know what? I think I've figured out how it does that. That's probably why. And this is Too Long Didn't Read TTRPGs, of which I read a TTRPG of interest that I found either from the Google Drive of Mystery or the Bookshelf of Doom. Wow, I was switching up there a little bit. Hope you all doing well out there, my friends. Nice to have you here, as always. And again, I always start with these streams with an apology. I should have been streaming last Thursday. But, and I'm trying to get more into a regular habit of, like, doing these things. And I know I said, like, oh, we're doing Electric Bastion Land last week. Turns out my partner came home on the Tuesday after I did last stream. And they went, I don't feel great. And it turned out he had COVID. So we just stayed in. And I didn't want to, and because he was working from home, I didn't want to necessarily disrupt him with me going like, hello, this is me streaming. So we didn't stream last week, and then I've had to change around a few other bits and pieces. But we're here, we're doing it today, yes, let's just dive straight into it. It's been a little while since we chitty chatted and stuff. But today, friends, let me just make sure I've got all my bits and pieces up. Today, friends, we are looking at Queerz the RPG, an anime tabletop RPG where you fight darkness and intolerance with light and empathy, which is based on the manga comic of the same name, and uses the City of Mist RPG system. Oh no, wishing them quickly recovery. Oh, they're absolutely fine. Like, it was one of those things where we've had COVID and various sicknesses so much recently that we're actually okay, but we're doing our duty, and if we don't have to go into offices and spread stuff around, we can work from home, and my partner is very keen to do that, and I'm very happy for him to do that as well. But it just means that I can't do all my streaming because I don't want to disturb him. Last thing he needs on a meeting is me going like hello in the background. So but I appreciate it very much so. Yes, so Queerz the RPG, I'm going to say that this right at the top. I have no idea about this RPG. It sounds bloody amazing. And the manga as well, Queerz the manga. So I'm going in completely fresh in terms of the actual content and topics, but I'm very keen for it. It feels very much like Girl by Moonlight, that sort of vibe, you know, Sailor Moon, etc. So I'm absolutely here for that. And City of Mist, though, we've done City of Mist before on Too Long Didn't Read, and that is by Son of Oak Game Studios. And if you're aware of it, it's a mix of a Powered by the Apocalypse plus tags. Now, I have interesting feelings about City of Mist. I love the concept of City of Mist, the setting. I think the game system is interesting, but oh boy, there's some of the moves and stuff like certainly the original City of Mist system I find a little bit some issues with. I love the idea of tags, don't get me wrong, but some of the moves seem very similar, and we've had that problem before. We're going like, which move would we use? It's a little bit heady, I would say, personally speaking. That said, we looked at the Legend of Mist, which was their latest one, which basically was like, let's just do tags. So much better, much more like it, etc. Your voice is not that high. Oh, bless you. So we're just gonna look at it. We're gonna, as always, we're gonna look at where we can get a copy of this, like the actual marketing copy, maybe a little bit about it in terms of the background, and read through the quick start demo PDF that you can get on the actual website. So we're not going to look at the full game, we're just going to look at the demo stuff, but obviously there's a link to the sort of main landing page. I put a link to the Kickstarter, I think, in the video description, but Nightbot has got the has got the actual link to the launch page, which we're going to be looking at. Admittedly, it is a bit out of date. It talks about the upcoming Kickstarter. It's already funded, but the full game is actually out, and you can go get yourself a copy. But of course, as always, some few bits and pieces before we begin, some disclaimers. So I am not a game designer by any means. I run a lot of games. I play a lot of games. I have certain biases towards certain things, but ultimately, this whole point of the stream is A, being able to read, sort of try to sight read a bit more, which is always helpful in terms of like presentations, in terms of skills, like for voice actors, etc. And also learning stuff as well. Like, it's always good to read RPGs, and I want to impress this fact on folks recently, because I feel like I've read a lot of RPGs, but then I've seen lots of reviews and that, oh, well, you have to play them as well. And I don't disagree with that, absolutely. If you have the opportunity, the privilege, and the capacity to run games with a regular, and have a group of people who want to try new games, please go right ahead. But we are reading it from a standpoint of like, ooh, this system sounds interesting. Would I want to run this for a game? Like, that's always the first thing, rather than like testing a game as well. But I always take that meaning like some of the critiques I may give may not make sense, or not make sense. The game might not make sense to me unless I played it or read it or something like that. So I'm always very aware of that. I want to impress that as well. These are just my thoughts as I'm reading through the game. So number one, not a game designer. Number two is I've obviously not been sponsored by Son of Oak Game Studio to look at this. It came up randomly on my game number generator. That's the word I'm going to say. So it's So again, it's that sort of thing going, oh yeah, sounds great. So yeah, I'm just interested to see what they've done. And like I said, I had that sort of little bit of a bias of going, I didn't really enjoy City of Mist game mechanics from before, but I'm here to be impressed and changed about. And disclaimers, finally, content warnings, topics. So this is quite clearly an LGBTQ plus game, which we're A-okay on that. Brilliant, we want that. But there might be some topics of difficulties in terms of like trauma, perhaps. It talks about light and darkness and intolerance, particularly, which it may cover in the game itself. I'll try and flag it as I can, but just FYI on that sort of front. It also feels very anime superhero, so I feel like in terms of like big boss battles and fights, it's going to be that kind of vibes rather than anything particularly gory or particularly punishing. But then again, I don't know, so I just wanted to head that up straight away. I'll try my best. But if you're sort of like, I don't want to deal with those sort of themes just now, I just want to just have fun, and please feel free to come back anytime with stream. We very much appreciate it as well. Like, again, we're just all learning something new. All right, team, let's get away from Big Fiona Cam. And now, have I set this up? No. Always the way. Okay, let's get rid of the there we go. So this is let's start right at the beginning. No, we'll start on the Kickstarter page. So this is the actual Kickstarter page where you can go and get the game itself. Again, you can see sort of like I feel a very interesting image they've used for the top sort of banner thing. So this is advertising the game. I don't think it's the best image. It just shows the physical elements of the game, and then it says here Queerz in beautiful rainbow colours, and then the Ttrpg and a little image there. I'll be honest, I don't like it. I would have preferred the cover or some actual like. I mean, I presume this individual here that's sort of like in a superhero, sort of like with a beautiful like teal star mask on their face, is a character maybe you can play or a villain. I don't know. I would much prefer. I scoot down a little bit. This splash image that we see here is sort of the 5 individual characters that we get as part of the demo game. Each of them sort of in their Power Ranger kind of colours. It looks like My Hero Academia style. Yes, exactly, Episode 5. But I would have had this image up at the top here, rather than this sort of image of again the sort of like character sheets, which are sort of like these trifold colours and a little bit of a map and stuff like that. I'm just like going like, well, what is that? It's too far away for me to see anything. So instantly I'm like, oh, that's a shame. I think I would have preferred the art, especially because if you're trying to get fans of the manga into it as well. So just the only thought there. You'll notice that again we had over 1,000 backers here that pledged over $104,000. There, that was my brain going to bring it to life last a little while ago. Like, incredible. So again, incredibly popular game, and again in the sense of like I think it does I think it might be popular because Son of Oak has done so well. It's also probably popular because it's on Kickstarter as well, rather than on BackerKit. So the other thing I'd say, and this always bugs me, and I don't know if it's a Kickstarter thing or anything like that, first lot of it is obviously all images, splash images to catch your attention and stuff, but there's no way you can get any alt text about what this is. So again, it's what it is like panels for almost like a comic book. So it feels very much like the Masks of Many Masks that we looked at the other time, with the sort of the manga art. And there's just no way we can like sort of read it through. Again, if you had an alt text, most text is here at the bottom where you have to scroll several times. I've never heard of Queerz manga. No, me neither. The top one is more like a board game. Absolutely, Evil Bread. Yeah, exactly. It looks like, oh, is it the board game? No, it's a tabletop. And again, the line between board game and tabletop is quite blurred right now. So that's not necessarily an issue. It's just I just don't think that's the best image they could have used to put out there. Anyway, so let's read this top bit here. So again, this is the reason why we look at the copy is like what is advertising to us, so people who are interested in this game or like, you know, seen the board game image and gone, I would like to play this, you know. So it says, hello and welcome to Queerz, the Super Sentai LGBTQ themed tabletop role-playing game based on the wonderful manga by Isago. Thank you for helping us fund this creation of this game. In Queerz, you and your friends play superhero characters that juggle everyday lives and drama with saving the world from ignorance, a dark, glassy substance that makes people blind to all the beauty and variety life has to offer. The Queerz face those who are blinded by ignorance in flashy, superpowered battles and use their rainbow empathy to break through the ignorance and reach to the person beyond. They then enter the inner space, a psychic dimension in which they learn what has made their foe into a villain and help them see and accept all the colours of the rainbow. Queerz win by turning villains into allies. Like the manga, Queerz combines exhilarating action with exuberant campiness and a message of radical acceptance, of finding a way to love ourselves and those different from us. Embrace your queerness, whatever it is. Oh, this is great. Oh, I like that a lot. Like, again, I guess that first line here, where it says, you play superhero characters that juggle everyday lives and drama with saving the world. I'm like, okay, so masks. But I love this. The ignorance. It's the big bad evil. A dark, glassy substance that makes people blind to all the beauty and variety life has to offer. What a great metaphor. And I know this probably comes from the manga rather than like the game. I'm instantly in. That sounds so much better. And then this little paragraph here talking about the, you know, that we're not killing people or anything like. We're sort of changing them and sort of trying to see what's made them to be like this. And like make them into allies. Yeah, very, very manga, very anime. Love that. Amazing. And so yeah, I instantly oh, that's pretty cool. I like how it's written like that. So it's got me excited as a result. And here's the thing. So this one I wanted to show people. So if you wanted to get a demo of the game to read along at home, you can click on this link here on the Kickstarter, and it leads to this weird sort of landing page, which I don't understand why they've done this, but makes it easier. But it goes then into a Google Drive where you can get. Oh, let me move it across here so folks can see. Here we have some pre-generated characters. I've got character sheet and moves. The demo game is here. You also get issue 1 of the manga as well, which I think is quite nice. You also have some tracking cards and both printer-friendly and full of colour as well. So you get a whole lot for it here, which is very exciting. So I just wanted to point that out, that it's not an easy thing to find, perhaps. And incidentally as well, you can probably see on this side, whoop, she says, last modified, 4 years ago. So they might not be as up-to-date as they are, etc. Evil Bread says, oh no, hang on, Sworn Stampede? My friend, who are you? Go away. A ban hammer has happened, don't worry, I just saw them. What? No killing? Next. Oh, don't be silly. Plenty of TTRPGs have killing, so you've got plenty of them. Why can't I kill evil triangles from time to time? Well, unfortunately, no. We have to see how the triangle became the triangle. You go see that and then turn that triangle into a square ally. That's how it works, you know? But yeah, I think, again, I find it interesting that there's different ways of sharing quick starts and stuff like that. So I guess what I like about it is that, yeah, it's a Google folder, so easily accessible. You don't necessarily need a Google account, she says, thinking about it. But yeah, you've got all these separate sort of character sheets as well. Like if I let's click on Absolutely Fabulous, whose name's great. Oh, how gorgeous is that character sheet? That's a much nicer character sheet than I think the tri-fold ones, personally speaking. I love the colour of them. Maybe I'll open it in my actual thing as well, so we can have a look at it from time to time. And look, I can see down here we've got I don't know, well, a little bit you can see, but I appreciate the transcriptions taking from it. We've got sort of how I talk about it, the two mythos and the two logos here on one side. So here it says, I think these are the two superpowers, and then here's the two sort of normal everyday person ones. That's as your starting off ones. That's pretty cool. That's the other thing to note is that each character, again, they'll have their superpower, superhero name, presumably a color that they're associated with. So this person is purple, but you see here they have any and all pronouns, and it does say each, and I presume that, again, this is from the manga as well. It got different pronouns for each folk. Presumably, again, you could change who you'd like to be. Oh, Teddy Wolf, sorry. It's Queerz yellow. And the other thing as well, there you go, they, them, there for Twinkie Camp. The thing as well, what is nice is that there's not only is there a range of pronouns that can use, obviously a range of a representation, but also body representation as well. Like Teddy Wolf here is a bit more curvy compared to maybe we're thinking of those Power Rangers, they're very slim, looking like all together now. So I'm like, heck yeah, it's more curvy, different body shapes in these games as well. Amazing. I just wanted to read this final bit here. So it's Queerz is for everyone. Whilst Queerz draws heavily on LGBTQ plus culture, one of the most colourful expressions of humanity without a doubt, anyone could play because it's not a game about being LGBTQ. Queerz is about people learning to accept themselves and each other whilst fighting that which separates us. Everyone is Queerz. We're all different in some way. We all have encountered different forms and degrees of unacceptance and narrow-mindedness when others could not accept who we are. The colour of our skin, our gender, or lack thereof, our way of life, or even our hobbies. Sometimes we are our own worst critics and have a hard time accepting ourselves, and we all have had a hard time accepting others. No matter who you are, you can fight intolerance itself. And if you love the sentai? Action, and also appreciate the incredible diversity of lifestyles and individuals our world has to offer, then Queerz is for you. Perfect. I think that's great. Like, instantly it's like going, hey, we know what you're thinking. It's not that. It's like I was talking to my co-host Hamilton today. We're doing some more we're doing some GM's book club episodes coming up, and we just did Eat the Reich, and what we liked about Eat the Reich was that it was a game which says at the forefront like what it is and what it isn't. And you know what, I think signaling like, hey, this is what the game is about, rather than maybe not being obvious, like just saying it in plain and simple terms like it has done here, it actually really sort of emboldens it. It feels very strong, it feels very refreshing, that this is the values that the game stands for. And it's like, yeah, anyone could play. You don't have to be out as an LGBTQ person. You could be questioning, or you could be straight. It doesn't matter. The game is about learning to accept others, and that I think is just so powerful. Really, really cool. All right, team. So that's the sort of the big sort of vibe. Again, we could go through a bit more of the Kickstarter if we want, but I think we should just get into the game. The only thing I did wanted to say, so the link I put in the chat, again, this is the full landing page you can find, is, again, it tells you a little bit more about it. You can get the free issue of Queerz here, and then the demo game, which is what we're going to be looking at, and then a bit more about the artists themselves, which I believe that's going to be, that's a Twitter link. Unfortunately, we're not going to click on that. But yeah, you can find a bit more information about it. So yeah, I'd recommend checking that out as well. All right, team, let's dive in then, shall we? No. There we go. All right, I'll move this down a little bit so we can see the actual top. Oh, no, you've not done this right. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this is, for some reason, I've cut off the top of this image, which is typical of me. But yeah, so this is, again, like I said, this is the free demo game, so it came out about 4 years ago. The actual demo game, the PDF itself, is 57 pages long. And this includes a quick scenario, but not the pre-gen characters. Again, we get them separately, just a heads up there. First thing to note is that, look, that link, oh, you can't see it, but the link does work. It goes to the Kickstarter, which is exciting. However, as always, there is no alt text. You think, if you're able to put a link, like you can't see it, but you can see my cursor's turned to a little hand, and it actually comes up with the URL, like alt text. you think, wouldn't it be great if you could just put some alt text about this incredible image at the top here? Again, you've got these 5 superheroes, all of different colours, a very sort of like, Power Rangers style. Yeah, that's the only thing I was like, oh, goodness. 57 for a City of Mist-like game? Well, I mean, again, it's Wolf Discover. It's going to have 2 columns at least, so that's what you got from there. All right, let's go straight in. I've gone past the first sort of splash page where we see one of these individuals, sort of like someone with dark coloured skin with braids off to one side, and it says, the utmost benefit of all involved. That's sort of the big splash page at the beginning. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So this is interesting. This table of contents page, again, we love a good table of contents page. It feels very graphic novel because first of all, we've got these individual images showcasing the art from Queerz, the manga itself. Table of contents heading up here. It is screen readable, which is good. We've got 4 chapters total, right? We've got the setting itself, so what Queerz is, which we'll definitely look at. We'll look at player rules, which is, again, how do we play this game? What makes a Queerz? The MC rules, yes, the Master of Ceremony rules. Are those pages hyperlinked? No, they are not. No, they are not. Which, again, I'm not surprised when it is like a demo. Like, I feel like quick starts, I don't mind them not being hyperlinked too much. It's more the alt text is the big thing important, because I feel like the quick starts could change over and over again, so maybe you're adding pages or removing pages, so I'm not too fussed about that. What I am fussed about is making sure that everything has got alt text. The chapters themselves, yeah, no, they're not the chapters, well, they're just screen readable, unfortunately. What I will say, and then of course, sorry, let me just finish. So that was the third chapter, was the MC rules a little bit, and then the demo adventure. We will not be looking at the demo adventure. That's about 12 pages long, interestingly enough. But so we'll go through as much as we can. I definitely want to look at the setting, because I think that sounds interesting, and maybe we'll look at the player rules. The MC rules, again, we're not too much about that, but maybe we'll look at the conflict with ignorance. I was going to say conflict with interest was what I was about to say. I think what's interesting is, so that's the top part of the page, is this table of contents where you've got sort of on the left, you've got like the first 2 chapters sort of, and like little sections in between. And then we've got this sort of these splash images put there, like panels of comic book. And then on the right, we have the MC rules and demo adventure. And then it goes into the credits about like, you know, who's it written by, who's the art by, etc. Now, I just feel it's a little bit all over the place, because already we've gone into 2 columns, which I absolutely dislike. But it just feels like, yeah, again, and I appreciate this is from sort of a Western point of view, because we read left to right. So in my head, I'm reading down this column here on the left, table of contents, setting, and then I go into the credits, and then I move over here. I think we need to, again, these images, they're beautiful, they're great. I think we need to just have them fully up here, and then the table of contents underneath, and then these credits on a separate page. I just feel it's a little bit busy myself, and it's hard to read, absolutely as well. But what I do like, and again, this is where the hyperlink sort of should have maybe come in, is that upcoming contributors as well. So you have a list. Oh, reconnecting your channels. That's not good. How interesting. Well, hopefully I'm still here. That was a weird one. So as I was saying, so so it's nice to have credits for the upcoming contributors as well. So you know who's going to be in it, and it's got presumably their text, their Twitter handles. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it would have been nice. Yes, still with us. Thank you. I just had a connecting again, and I was like, oh, I hope not. But yeah, it would be nice to have like a link to them, perhaps. Like, why have the tag, but then not link them anywhere? That is a little bit of a shame. Again, you never know if those people aren't going to be playing in the game or not. That is the thing. Oh, my subtitles have gone. Yeah, smooth stream. Well, you say smooth, Evil Bread, but already it's struggling a little bit. Maybe I'll do this, and I'll go back in here. That's interesting, though. Let's try that again. Subtitles, are they coming in? Yeah, that's it. Weird. I don't know. I do not know. All right, where was I? I'm closing all these tabs now. Hopefully, maybe I should just have its own tab. Maybe that'll be good. Sorry. No, you're not sorry at all. No, it's all good. I'm just trying to make sure things work as I go. All right, let's try that. Okay, so what is this game and who is it for? A good strong start. Again, I like this sort of copy at the top. So we've got this image here of, again, this, I presume, the villain of Queerz shooting an incredible cool like star like power, like just a star beam, in teal towards one of our heroes, and it's like we're like at the back, a very comic book style, really cool. And I'll zoom in a little bit so we can read it. It says, so what is this game and who's it for? So on the surface, Queerz is a super sentai power fantasy against bigotry. In this universe, ignorance is an evil, almost alien substance that appears like dark crystals. Ah, like these ones, I'm guessing. Which you can smash, shatter, and obliterate. Your super sentai moves against ignorance and its followers range from classic martial arts and energy weapons to whatever makes you unique as a person. Your art, your passions, and your style. However, Queerz is also about understanding ignorance and its causes, and about reaching out to each other, especially to those you see as enemies. As a hero, you don't only stop for ignorance, you talk to your enemies and discover what made ignorance take root in their hearts. Perhaps, if they're up to it, you can help heal them. This is reflected in the inner space, a hidden dimension of thoughts and feelings that the Queerz can access with their rainbow empathy. Firstly, I want to say what I love about it is the use of putting stuff in balls. Care Bear stare. Amazing. Oh, I'd hope for some cool robots soon. Maybe you don't know. We don't know. I do feel this is more Sailor Moon than Power Rangers. Is my sort of vibe on this. But we'll see. But what I was going to say, is the formatting of this. So we've got this sort of like, what is the game and who is involved, which is, again, that is a heading that we can read, but it's in bold. These are the important points, right? So on the surface, it's this. However, it's about this. So I like that. Like, you could boil it down to these points, which I think is great. What if I'm not queer? So you can still be a Queerz even if you don't identify as LGBTQ+. If you've ever been labelled or mistreated because you're different, be it because of your gender, skin colour, disability, hair colour, or even strange tabletop hobby, and you want to create a world where no one else has felt this way, then you are Queerz. Even if you were privileged enough not to experience bigotry, but you want to be an ally on the journey of making the world better, you're welcome in the Rainbow House. Great. Love that. What if I don't get this? That's okay. Everyone is affected by ignorance in Queerz, including the heroes, because we all have something new to learn. If you know that you don't know, that's already a step in the right direction. Be curious and be bold. Nice. I like that a lot. What if I've been told I'm a bigot? That depends. If you're here to listen, talk about it, and open your mind, welcome. If you're here just to hold your ground or spew hatred and become more and more rigid, beware. Smashing ignorance is the most common move in this game. I mean, I like that. I guess it's like, again, it's the tone of it, right? Again, I'm thinking back to my discussion with Hamilton today about Eat the Reich, how it's just unapologetically like, no thank you, we're going to punch these Nazis in the face, that sort of thing. Here it's like, well, we're still going to smash ignorance in the face. You can do what you want, this is going to happen. So, but it's done it in sort of a more, I don't want to say family-friendly way, that's not what I mean at all, but it's definitely sort of done like, that's nice, okay, beware, we're still going to punch you in the face. What if I don't want to reach out to ignorance? We hear you. Ignorance is responsible for humanity's most inhuman deeds, and the scars are fresh. Maybe you just want to play the tank that busts through all that ignorance and leaves the talking to others. Be aware that finding a way to build bridges is always the end game in Queerz, but only by honouring our differences, never by justifying bigotry. Now that is interesting. What if I don't want to reach out to the ignorance? I like that. Like, what if you're like, I don't want to deal with that sort of that baggage or trauma? I think that's really interesting to include that there. Because often you think, oh yes, they're going to ask, well, what if I'm this? It's like, well, what if I don't want to do that? I just think it's like, I prefer to be Bigfoot than bigot. I'll put that on a t-shirt, evil bread. And look at this. Oh, what a beautiful splash page. So we have here, like, again, someone going through their, well, I say going through their sort of Sailor Moon moment, but yeah, basically an individual with sort of all in pink going through sort of, there's like different sort of focuses on like their hand, their sort of like symbol of the Q pink, but interesting enough, they've got beautiful shoes on. I can see that in the silhouette. And it says the setting. Interesting enough, there's no alt text. Oh, look at that image there. Absolutely fabulous individual is like wrapped up in what looks like sort of like, I want to say tentacles or some sort of like vines of some sort, but they look like they're in complete control. And they've got a fabulous purple like jumpsuit on, I want to say, and their hair is sort of like all over the place, but it's gorgeous. A beautiful purple eyeshadow. So it says, "Here comes Queerz." I like how my subtitles say quiz rather than Queerz. Incredible. Welcome all to the fabulous world of Queerz, a game of high-flying action inspired by Super Sentai shows where you could take on the challenges of fighting the consuming dark powers of ignorance. You'll be making the world a better, more open-minded place, a place where everyone can be free to be themselves. This won't be easy, as ignorance and its followers are all around you, and change is difficult. But you won't do it alone, since by your side are other superpowered individuals who share your dream of a better world. Together, you'll fight ignorance and its lackeys, juggle the challenges of everyday life, and strive for tomorrow where anyone can strike their own unique pose. Amazing. Oh, oops, let me move that across there so people can see. So Queerz is based on the eponymous, how you say it? Manga by artist Isago Fukuda, who combines two beautiful sources of inspiration: the Japanese genres of comics, films, and TV known as sentai, task force, and queer culture. From the ball scene of the 1980s New York to modern political movements all over the world, queer people have been fighting against prosecution, a fight which has turned into a quest for a better tomorrow for everyone. In the manga, and in our hearts, this idealism isn't treated as a foolhardy or unattainable, but a goal that will one day be accomplished. The game encourages the same level of hope and idealism as do sentai series such as Sailor Moon, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Voltron, G-Force, and many, many more. Nice. All right. So far, so good on the two-column business. So, Queerz versus ignorance. In Queerz, you'll take on the role of someone who's blessed with magical powers. Specifically, you are a Queerz. Your powers come from the rainbow empathy, a magical force that empowers and embodies ideals of humanity, compassion, joy, and wisdom, offering those who can wield it unimaginable power that sparks from their love. Queerz are tethered to it by their runway, a unique and personal pursuit that they are passionate about and through which they can inspire others. Against them stands the super powerful individuals of a different kind, an army of villains fueled by ignorance, a rigid glass-like substance made of negative feelings and hatred-constricted worldviews. These so-called Justice Knights are determined to make the world adhere to their constricted view of order, forcing the Queerz to twist their into their twisted idea of justice. In this game, you'll show them the rainbow and melt away their ignorance. Watch out, world, here comes Queerz. Amazing. So yeah, we've got an example here of somebody breaking free of that. Oh, I see their masks. That mask of the sort of like the teal star that they had on. That's ignorance because it's got like a sort of grey substance on it. Oh, amazing. It says here, there is ignorance in everyone. This game uses ignorance and ignorant not as derogatory words, but as descriptions of a magical condition. That's probably very good to put that here, yeah. In Queerz, there is no shame in being ignorant, in not knowing, and Queerz never vilify those blinded by the black glass, even if sometimes they're flabbergasted by their opponent's reluctance to accept and acknowledge others' views. In fact, even heroes of Queerz can sometimes have their own ignorance shattered, as no one is all-knowing or immune to learning something new. Keep asking questions, be curious, and help others on their journey of discovery. I think that is very important. And I think that's something we need to think of a lot in quite a lot of discourse that's going on just now, and also as goes on in general in life, is that just because you know something doesn't mean everyone else knows it, and people will, be going through the different parts of the learning journey. So, and I know it's very difficult especially if it's someone, if you've got your own lived experience or your own sort of trauma and somebody's asking you questions about stuff and you're like, just Google it, look it up yourself. Like, I know there's a give and take, so each case is different. But I do think like people shouldn't be worried about being, say, cancelled or worried about, worried about learning more. Like asking for help and being ready to receive that help and just be, and go off and do your learning things. It's a mixture of both, and I think it can be quite scary. But I think this is a very good like panel to have, and sort of like, especially talking about it here, that even your own heroes are not immune from it. So that's quite interesting. Okay, so the game system itself. Move it up a little bit. So Queerz runs on the award-winning City of Mist engine, a cinematic tag-based system that allows players and game masters to create completely unique characters and play a narrative gaming experience without being bogged down by hard-wired limitations. The perfect rule set to support this diverse universe. Sure. When you play Queerz, you can use any aspect of all description of your character, from fierce drag queen wardrobe through energy beam of empathy to bullied as a kid, to empower your character's actions. You develop your character and change their power set through choices that lead to personal transformation. Read more about this starting on page 18. Okay, fair enough. Oh, what a great image at the top here. An individual with like a rainbow halo behind them, sort of like, again, powering up, I think, before doing a cool final move. So here it says the world of Queerz. Rainbow and runaway. So being a Queerz is more than just simply being a superhero, though it is certainly that too. You are empowered by the rainbow empathy, the energy that flows through all of humanity. It's been called the weird, the ether, the collective unconscious. Regardless of its name, being a Queerz means that you are tied into it in a way that other people cannot begin to understand. You've gained this connection not through luck, but through love. When one day you connected to something deep within yourself and awoke your runway, a pathway that guides you closer to the rainbow. It's your connection to the beating heart of humanity. Something I'd forgotten to say because I wanted to point it out. So I liked how we'd in this section here, in the page before, we'd emboldened certain game terms, so like Queerz, rainbow empathy, runway, ignorance, justice knights. So those will come up here. I kind of wish they'd kept on doing it throughout this section, but each to their own. Okay, Q power activate. Supercharged with the rainbow empathy, Queerz are capable of extraordinary feats. They are trained in unique fighting styles. They can have an enhanced agility, stamina, and strength. They are equipped with gear that can enhance their attacks. And more than all of the above, their very presence and words exude? Yeah, the rainbow empathy, which they can shape into energy blasts of love, smashing through ignorance and reaching the people behind it. Rainbow blasts only harm ignorance. When they hit a person, it fills them with acceptance and love. I'll be honest, I don't know if you need that last line. Personally speaking, I feel like it only harms ignorance. That's the only thing I'd say. I'd like, okay, maybe that's one step further for me, necessarily. But I think like you're harming ignorance, not the individual person. Ignorance and twisted justice. The rainbow has a natural counterforce in ignorance. Ignorance is a tangible thing in the world of Queerz, a crystalline psychophysical substance that seeps into everything, obscures the truth, and keeps your view of the world narrow. Whilst not inherently evil, it is blinding. Ignorance is what keeps humans away from each other and builds up walls that don't need to exist. Assumptions and bigotry are all edicts of ignorance, bolstering and empowering it and those who wield it. Ignorance can even affect those who are blessed with a runaway, blinding them to what others are dealing with or the truth of a situation. Those who are deeply affected by ignorance can have their very minds corrupted, turning them into what's known as an ignorant. Ignorants are not evil, although their actions certainly can be, and they are accountable for them regardless of them being ignorant. I think that's a very good point to put in here, just in case. They do things because ignorance has warped their vision of the world into their own twisted justice, and they believe this is the only way to save the world and humanity from anomalies. Their word for for anyone who is different. Like a good sentai team, you are dealing with someone who has been corrupted and hurt, and as a Queerz, it is up to you to stop their hideous plan and, if possible, save them. Ooh, look at this image here. Let me zoom out a little bit. So again, that's the sort of ignorance, sort of like star mask over the individual to indicate that they've been corrupted by it. I do like this panel. Like, I quite like this. Again, just a shame there's no alt text for it. All right, so it says here, Campy Surface, Hidden Depths. What a great title. I'd watch that show. Super Sentai shows the aesthetics of simplistic morality to tell their stories. The good guys, so Sailor Scouts or Power Rangers or the like, face the bad guys who are always in the wrong. On the surface, Queerz is no different. Justice Knights are wrong, and Queerz are in the right. You can play the game this way and just have fun kicking ignorance's butt. Ignorance looks cooler than the heroes, not gonna lie. I mean, was it the devil always has the best songs? Evil villains always have the best outfits? I think you could... I would say, nah, like, you know, you can get star masks anywhere. But I always like the villains in stories like that. No, it's a true vibe, I think. Yeah, like I said, like, the villains always get the best lines, all that sort of thing. So it's important to remember, however, that the real world isn't so simple. No group is a homogenized monolith, and even those with the best intentions can act in harmful ways. In Queerz, this is reflected in the fact that Queerz can be infected with ignorance too, and adopt rigid worldviews that gradually turn them into ignorance. The attacks of other ignorance, painful life events, or trauma can chip away at a Queerz connection with the rainbow empathy, and encase it with ignorance. Queerz then have to help each other by entering their friends' inner space and help them stay right. This is briefly explored in the second issue of the comic and in future issues in Volume 2 and beyond. If you want to play a more nuanced game, you can introduce these hues of complicated morality by making your own Queerz explore their own ignorance. Shattering ignorance and entering the inner space. So the rainbow empathy of Queerz has the most amazing power to illuminate and broaden horizons, educate and open one's mind. When rainbow powers come into contact with ignorance, the struggle of forces occurs. Either the rainbow is bright enough to shatter ignorance, or it is obscured by it. All new Queerz soon master a focus blast of rainbow called Rainbow Flash. If a Rainbow Flash is strong enough to momentarily free someone from their ignorance, a moment of rainbow empathy occurs, allowing the Queerz to go a step further and enter the inner space, the dimension of thoughts, feelings, and memories within each of us, where ignorance strikes roots and obscures our rainbow. There, the Queerz can discover what originally caused an ignorant to become encased in the dark crystals, and free them, turning a foe into a friend. All right. The city, sorry. Queerz and ignorance clash within the city. Whilst Queerz manga city is based on London. Oh, really? How funny. You can use any city or generic city setting. If your stories require it to be close to the beach, it's a coastal city like, oh no, how do I pronounce that? Inhambe? Or Napoli? Napoli. If you want a sprawling metropolis, the city is more similar to a place like Tokyo or Atlanta. Regardless, the city is always a beehive of culture, a magnificent monument showcasing the richness of humanity where all walks of life come together. The only consistent rule of a city is that it has a lot of people of different kinds. Their lives and their struggles are what really matters after all. Sorry, I got completely waylaid. I was like, wait, they've got a London as the base setting? How interesting. I genuinely thought it would be something like Tokyo would be the go-to setting, perhaps. So that I find interesting. It actually makes me curious because I'm always a big fan of like. Cause I grew up. I lived in London for over a decade. I assume it must mean London, UK. By the way, I know there's different Londons around the world. But I wonder. Yeah, I would love then to read the actual comic then, because there may be then I mean, it's based on London, so it won't be actual London references, but I'd be keen then as a result. I always find it interesting, like, I'm like, oh, I lived there. Is there anything that comes up? Like, I go, oh, I went to that museum, or I've been to that pub, you know. The push and pull of rainbow and realness. When they're not saving the city, Queerz have private lives away from battle between rainbow and ignorance. Maybe you're a doctor who runs a small clinic and thinks everyone is deserving of care regardless of income. Or a fashion designer who wants to remove the idea of labels from all facets of life. There's that old comic book saying about great power and great responsibility, but it's important to remember that your responsibilities sometimes include going to visit your grandma. Oh, God. In Queerz, players will juggle between the battle for the rainbow and their everyday life, as both are equally important. Where's the balance between real life and super battles? Well, that's up to you. This is the duality of rainbow and realness. Realness is what you do in your everyday life, you know, your job, relationships, friends, and personal projects. It's about me personally and what's important to you individually. In contrast, your rainbow might be pulling you towards finding out what is good for everyone and how you can help make the world better as a superhero. Whilst you express your rainbow in your own special way, it also draws you beyond just yourself. This back and forth will change depending on your choices you make throughout the game of Queerz, as leaning one way or the other will invariably affect the type of person you become and what kind of world you'll uncover. So yes, that goes back to that idea of the main engine for City of Mist. It's like, you know, mythos and logos, or logos, depending on how you pronounce it. I definitely go logos. And then here we've got another sort of, again, the sort of splash image of an individual holding out their hand, again with a cool rainbow halo. And it says, another city, another story. If you're a fan of City of Mist, you might have a very different idea of what the city looks like. Whilst it's true both games feature an urban setting, we promise Queerz is at least 500% less murder mystery and 600% more colour coordinated explosions. On the flip side, the cinematic mechanics are virtually the same, so you'll pick up Queerz easily. That's quite funny. It's like, if you know, you know. Ooh. That, I recognise that place. I think that's near Borough Market. So there is an image of two presumably Queerz heroes looking up at a particular building and goes, look, this is Club Ducky. This has been a famous queer club for years. Absolutely. But I know it as there's a building near Borough Market which was used for the Bridget Jones Diaries. I don't know if there's a queer club underneath it, but that's still quite cool. Anyway, it says, your house. Queers gather together in what is known as houses. Bonded together by a shared ideal, houses are more than just a social club or a title. They're a family. Houses sometimes argue within themselves. People can get angry or feel left out, but being a part of a house means you will always have someone who loves you and will have your back when things get rough. Here and now we'll focus on House Rainbow. Founded by Mama J Rainbow, House Rainbow are united by their understanding of the rainbow. Oh God, that's like 4 rainbows in a row, isn't it? Consisting of several members, House Rainbow works out of a Cafe Greenwich. And hands out at the iconic Club Ducky, with members ranging from aspiring musicians to doctors to those simply wishing to be heroes. Being in House Rainbow means you should shoulder the responsibilities and joys of generations of LGBTQ+ members. Nice. So, I'm guessing it's Cafe Greenwich and Club Ducky is like sort of like in the day, Cafe Greenwich, and then it turns over to Club Ducky at night. That's so funny. I will say, and again, I say this with much love, I feel like we should call it something else, like House Rainbow. I think just because you've got Rainbow 4 times, and Rainbow's like a big element in terms of this, I think you'd call it something like, maybe you can't call it Club Greenwich or not House Greenwich or House Ducky. That's the only thing I'm just like, that's 4 rainbows. Like, I think Mama J Rainbow, keep the name, absolutely, but I'm just like, House Rainbow, Rainbow. But again, maybe that again is from the manga as well, so I don't want to be I don't want to be like punching down on something that, or not punching down, but I don't want to be criticizing something when it's actually in the manga, Fiona. Rainbow Ducky, yeah, let's go to House Rainbow Ducky. Perfect, All right, House Queerz. So we've got, here we go. So we've got, this is introducing what we have in terms of pre-gen characters. Got a good couple of folk at the back here. So it goes, here, make them your own. We have 5 demo characters the 5 demo characters, follow the Queerz comics, but you can make them your own. Change their background, names, pronouns, and any details you like. So we have Harvey M, who is the youngest of the Queerz, and also the newest. Whilst he struggles to figure out how to manifest his rainbow as successfully as his teammates, he has already proven himself not only as a capable fighter, but also compassionate and loving. So we've got Red Ranger then, that's classic. And absolutely fabulous, incredible, I love this person. They are Queerz Purple. Oh, I see Queerz Red, Queerz Purple, so that's the colour, the identifying colour for that. And they have any or all pronouns. Fabulous doesn't suffer fools, and she doesn't suffer the gender binary either. As a drag queen, artist, fashion designer, makeup artist, and performer, Fabulous does it all, and whilst wearing 7-inch stilettos. Even though, I was going to say, does it change pronouns for her? It does. Even though she is not the formal leader of the House Rainbow, everyone knows that Fabulous knows what he's doing and follows his lead. Incredible. Then we have Twinkle Camp, or Twinkie Camp. They use they them pronouns. So Twinkie is a vivacious, excitable, romance-driven member of Queerz who is unapologetically themselves at every moment. Twinkie is excitable and joyous to be around, but keeps their history close to their chest. They dream of becoming a gay icon like the ones that inspired them as a child. We then have Teddy Wolf, who uses he/him pronouns. Queerz yellow here, so this individual here. The thing that comes to mind when people see Teddy is dad. Teddy takes care of everyone and likes being known as a dependable and loving man, whether he's giving a stern talking to or a big bear hug. Having realised he was gay at an older age, he's still on good terms with his ex-wife and is a loving father to his little princess Mary. Oh, Mary? Yeah. Who he would move heaven and hell for. He would move heaven and earth for. Oh, beautiful. And then we have, I presume it's pronounced Willie, or Willie. Her pronouns, she's teal. After inheriting her grandfather's dance studio, Willie juggles her time between her love of dance, her love of ninjutsu, her love of the 80s, and her love of Rainbow House. A hard worker and small business owner, she is incredibly busy and responsible for a woman of her age, and while sometimes she wishes she could goof off and just dance, she relishes on being relied upon. There you go. Got 5 cool individuals there. Very nice. Look at these folk here. They've got the star things on. Oh, beautiful. Love that. Typical drama. The members of Queerz live exciting lives in any of their personas. Let's explore what that's like. So we have your everyday life here. It says, away from the costumes and the ignorance, you are, well, you. Perhaps you work in a cafe, perhaps you're a doctor or a private investigator, or perhaps you design games. There's no single way to be a Queerz, and everyone's day is different. Your ordinary life presents constant challenges such as making a performance that will wow the audience at Club Ducky. I think they've... Bless them. Again, I don't know if this is in the original manga, so do forgive me, but I feel like Club Ducky, I think someone's gone, you know what, we need a nightclub. It needs to be British and it needs to be in London. What's a good term of endearance? I know. Ducky. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I just think it's just very... I guess it's that sort of thing, like, you go, what place in London? I know, Greenwich. Camden. Borough. Brixton, Club Brixton might have been better, I don't know. Again. No, it just makes me laugh, I guess. And maybe that's the point. Confessing your feelings to your love interest. Organising a fun beach day without mishaps. Well, good luck going to the beach in London, I'll say that. Helping your friend move their overloaded apartment. The responsibilities and joys of your everyday life are your realness, grounding you through your identity. And then it says clashing with Justice Knights. Queerz should seek out to fight only when someone else is in danger. Yeah. All too often, Justice Knights will show up and interfere in a Queerz everyday life, trying to enforce their worldview on the situation, and they have the power to do so. When a Justice Knight attacks, they will first get others involved in their ignorance by announcing their twisted justice and creating pawns. Pawns are innocent basics, aka people without superpowers. I mean, it's a little bit like saying, well, I won't mention she who must not be named, but anything to do with the wizarding world and calling them like, oh yeah, those non-magical people. You know, it's that kind of vibes. Like, oh, they're just basics. Don't worry about them. Club Triangle, of course, that would have been so much. Yes, Club Triangle. Well, no, it would have to be Club Circle, right? Because Club Triangle is just sort of for all the basics, clearly. Where was I? I'm sorry, I got distracted with the word basics. Who fall for the Justice Knight's ideals and become infected with ignorance. They will do whatever is demanded of them by the Justice Knight, spewing out the toxic rhetoric the Knight ascribes to, or subscribes to even. They can be dangerous, but also are, in brackets usually, not too scary to deal with. Shatter their ignorance to free them, whether it is through words, a dance, a pose, a rainbow flash, or whatever you have. Once you clear out their lackeys, it's time to take on the Knight themselves. When a showdown is about to take place, it's best to strike a pose, presumably that's a move, a game move that is, and open with your best fighting stance. And here we've got, Teddy, please. There's like an image of Teddy holding up, I assume it's a carry case, but it looks like one that you would use for music. Let's see. So Teddy Wolf has a busy day ahead of him. He's introducing his daughter to his new boyfriend tonight. He's also promised to help Absolutely Fabulous with her new costume today, which wouldn't be a problem if her costume didn't literally involve him rigging pyrotechnics. Ah, great. Oh, wow. Look, okay, so you've got, like, again, the daddy dating simulator up here. Like, oh, Teddy, how nice. And then it goes into his magical, mystical form. Almost Thanos style. Incredible. Okay, it says, Knights attack with both scathing words and constructs. Creatures and items they create out of the crystalline ignorance. Sometimes these are human-sized ninja stars. Other times they are multi-headed snakes. This is where your rainbow themes come in, allowing you to resist these attacks in myriad ways. Or it should be in a myriad of ways. I'm missing there. From gymnastic evasion to an ignorance-shattering punch, to summon all of your pride and blast it with a rainbow flash to literally smash their ignorance to smithereens. Teddy can be rough though. I feel Teddy, if Teddy has got the vibe of dad bod, I'm all for it, you know. And I think that's Teddy here is clearly like going like doing the Thanos style of like now I'll just click my fingers and everything's gonna be over. But wait, you might be asking, why shouldn't I just beat them up? I want to beat them up. Well, first of all, violence is never the answer, but more importantly, you're not going to fix their ignorance with your fists. I don't know, Teddy seems to have their fists out. Remember, they're not monsters. They are people who are just in the wrong. Only by shattering their ignorance can you stop it from infesting them and those they harm. Once you shatter through a Justice Knight's ignorance-made constructs, you'll be able to form the most amazing Queerz ability ever. Rainbow Empathy, which will transport you into their inner space. Ah, I see what they've done here. They've got, I understand now that these little sort of text boxes are sort of like designed in such a way. They are actually panels to indicate that we've got play examples. Again, I'm a big fan of that. It shows that you, again, I'm not going to read all of them. It shows like, hey, you want to see an example of it, go to here, rather than having it included in the core text. But some basics only understand violence. What then? Well, we got to be bigger than them. We got to strike a pose, do a dance. That's what it says here, and then blast them with our rainbow blast. That's the only way we're going to go for it. Okay, how are we doing on time? We've got an hour in. We've done 15 pages. That's not too bad. We'll see how far we get. So, unpacking the inner space. Everyone has a rich internal landscape unique to them. Some of us explore it through art, others through therapy, and others still through exercise and mindfulness. Ignorance however, has our inner space emotionally trapped in a moment of trauma. For ignorance, it is the exact moment their rainbow empathy has become obstructed and they lost their love. This is where the responsibility of a queer comes even more pertinent, because you can save them from this fate. After cracking through a Justice Knight's ignorance using your rainbow empathy, you enter their inner space. You find yourself altered to fit their emotional landscape, taking on the role of someone who can save them. Though you have mere minutes, their psyche and ignorance will try and push you out. You have to find their moment of trauma, the ignorance core. Sadly, you can't actually change what happened in their past. It's not time travel after all, but you can help them process this moment and grow from it. Doing so not only destroys their ignorance, but heals them, and maybe helps you get a new friend. This is really interesting. This reminds me of, and I appreciate this is a cultural reference that maybe no one will get, but one podcast I would like to recommend, certainly their first season, is Dungeons and Daddies, which is not a BDSM podcast. It's about 4 dads who go to the Forgotten Realms to find their sons. That is all they have to do in their first season, and it's silly and it's ridiculous. But what I liked about it is that each of the dads, they are a very archetypal sort of dad. You have Henry, who's like the crunchy munchy sort of druid, who's very much like a gentle parenting. You have Daryl, who is like sports dad. You have Freddie's character, whose name is completely Glenn Close, who is like the sort of dropout sort of beatnik sort of dad, not beatnik, deadbeat. That's the word I was thinking. Deadbeat sort of dad. Then you have the best person ever, Beth May, playing Ron Stampler, who plays the stepdad. And there's a bit where they go into Ron's inner space to process some trauma that he has, and it's one of the saddest episodes ever. But everyone's there to help, and so that's what it reminds me of. Is that everyone took on the role of looking like, I think they all took on the role of like dogs. It was really silly, but that's what I imagine it as well. So that's the sort of cultural touchstone I'd go for this, is checking out that episode. Great, I like this though, and also mentioning like, hey, you can't undo someone, because that's part of someone's life and history, and yeah, they have to process it. So I really like that as well. With the friendship beam, exactly like with the friendship beam. Oh, look at this, we've got a glossary early on as well. Nice. Again, we won't read up through all of it, but I'm a big fan of glossaries. I wish there was more pronunciation guides in general. But I like having glossary early on. Again, so we've got the world, we've got the setting, and kind of like what the sort of vibe is. We've got the beats, right? There'll be us facing a PPEG who has these basics and constructs under their control. When we manage to blast them back, we open a vulnerability, go into their inner space, and find their moment of trauma, their ignorance core, and then hopefully heal it. So that's the beat for every single mission. Easy enough. Look at that! Look at that! Cool! Oh, beautiful. We've got I want to say they're all on stage. There's like a group of people watching, a crowd watching at the Queerz characters, who are all dressed as various different interpretations of things. We've definitely got YMCA cop over here. We've got absolutely fabulous, dressed up in her drag stuff. We've got that must be Twinkle Camp or whatever, Twinkie Camp. They're there, and these other characters here. These other 2 characters. Oh man, I hope maybe they're probably in the manga, right? We've got Teddy at the back, wearing, in my head, marigolds. Alright, so that's the main. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we'll go through the player stuff as much as we can, but we might not get through all of it, so it's already taken us an hour to get through the actual setting bit, but we'll see. So, what makes a Queerz superhero? So, player characters, PCs, in Queerz are made up of 4 themes, each representing a major aspect of their character. Each theme can either be a rainbow or of realness, so that's what I was saying before, the mythos and logos. Oh, no, I should be, I'll zoom in a little bit. There we go, yeah, so I realised I zoomed out. Rainbow themes represent powers that stem from your runway and connections to the rainbow, or elements which empower this connection. There are 3 initial rainbow types, theme types. We have signature, fighting style, and Q gear. Realness represents your personality life, your personal life, from beyond being a Queerz superhero. There are 6 initial realness theme types. We have goal, memory, occupation, personality, relationship, and stuff. You know, that's my favourite type of realness theme, is just having stuff. The number of rainbow themes versus the number of realness themes that your character has says a lot about them. With more rainbow themes shine brighter, or these characters shine brighter as they are more connected to their runway, blasting the world around them with the universal love, but with little to ground them in the real world others experience. While characters with more realness themes are down to earth, focus on the drama of their lives, still exploring their runway. The more connected you are to the rainbow, the greater the ignorance threats they will attract, and less time they have to develop deep, meaningful relationships, enjoy their lives, and to just be. If you go all the way in the direction of a rainbow and become an icon, you risk burning out. It's difficult, taking the burden of the world on your shoulders, unrelenting, no time for yourself. On the other hand, if you don't follow your runway, you risk becoming basic again. Oh, well, that sounded really bad. Abandoning the life of a hero. I don't want to become basic. I want to become an icon. I am a circle. I'm not a triangle. In Queerz, you choose how your character's story and power set will evolve. Then we have tags. Themes have power tags, and these tags both describe your character and the power of the actions that your character takes. They describe qualities, abilities, gear, allies, or assets. The more power tags you can use in an action, the better, but they must be relevant to the action that you're trying to achieve. Each theme also has one or more weakness tags which can impede your actions, but also earn you growth when it comes into play. To get the feel of your abilities, check out your character's tag combos, predefined combinations of tags that represent your best moves. Growth. So each theme has a growth track with 3 boxes indicating how close this theme is to evolving. Each time you mark the 3rd growth on a theme, you choose a new power tag for that theme. You'll see under new power tag options and reset the growth to 0. So, okay. I see that. You can gain growth by using weakness tags, by spending your downtime developing a theme, or by going against the motivation of one of the themes for the sake of the other. Oh, interesting. So I guess using weakness, again, that's playing into the roleplay of it. Downtime, oh, so it reminds me of, again, like Blades in the Dark, having a downtime to, like, train and gain XP for it. And you go against the motivation of one theme for a second. That is an interesting one. I feel that's definitely more... It'll be a case-by-case thing. That'd be interesting. I think you'd have to be really obvious about it, like, say, like, I'm going against this individual thing. Let's see. Theme improvements. So Queerz, Basic Box, and Character Creator will allow you to advance your character in several new ways, including changing weakness tags or choosing theme improvements that give you special benefits or enhance your moves. With the Queerz Character Creator, you'll be able to create your own custom characters using the helpful questionnaires that guide you through the process, called theme books, enabling you to customize all the themes for your character. The Character Creator also provides you with the option for a quick start character creation process by picking and choosing themes from a multitude of predefined themes. This will be available in the core book. One thing I seem to remember, maybe this is the time to open up. Let me open up this absolutely fabulous character here. So here we've got I assume, 2 rainbow themes. We've got signature and fighting style. And then we've got occupation and personality here. Personality drag queen. What I always found interesting was that... Oh, interesting. It says here, like, theme improvement coming in the base box, so you don't get to upgrade this particular character. I will say, what's wrong with the text there? Yeah, a bit odd in that text. Can you see it? Yeah, the L's are quite strong in some places. Again, maybe it's supposed to... Oh, wait, hang on. It's because, none of this is screen readable. Well, that's a shame. Bit of a bugger if you're So this, hang on, this image is, these aren't screen readable. But I wonder if I go to, I'll look at it for another time. I don't know if, because there wasn't any other screen readable ones, was there? It was just those ones. So yeah, that's a shame. Because yeah, how am I supposed to click these then? Again, it's supposed to be printed out, I'm guessing. What's interesting, it says, like, you know, you have like a little thing here. So it says, arts gratias, arts. Arts for art's sake is the mantra of Absolutely Fabulous, as she feels like art is the purest way to reach the heart and open the mind of the world. Transgressive beauty and shocking movements are all part of their repertoire. And then there's like a little quote here that's like art that transcends boundaries. And then we've got the power tags that come with it. We've got the weakness tags as a result as well. I would say, like, again, I seem to remember, and this is where chat's going to correct me now. City of Mist, you would write stuff, like, it didn't give you, like, obviously the pre-gens here give you the options, but I seem to remember in the core book, it would give you, like, you'd have to be, like, what's the word? Like, you'd have to, like, have the mythos or logos, like, whatever it was, whatever it sort of meant, summarized in a sentence, and there wasn't much in terms of, like, examples of it, so it actually was really difficult to come up with something on the fly. So, interesting. Alright, just wanted to quickly look at that. Runaways and identity. So the makeup of your character in Queerz is dynamic and can change based on the decisions you make as a player. With every rainbow theme has a higher ideal called a runaway. So yeah, that's what we looked at just now. Runaway here. So, oh, you can't even see it. Fiona, yeah, you can see it here. So, actually, maybe I'll zoom out. Zoom out is probably better than moving the page around. One moment. Please stand by. So you can see it. There you go. Now I'll move it. You can see it there. Runway. And then identity is also here as well. There you go. Down there. Let me go back to... has a runway which calls a character to be a hero and serve as an icon of love and empathy to others, as well as a shade track. Ooh, with 3 boxes. When your character runway comes into play and you ignore it or act against it, you mark shade. If your character continues to ignore the rainbow and marks the 3rd shade box, you replace the theme with a new realness theme. Shade box? Oh, I see. It's the top bit here. Interesting. I don't know why you didn't say that with the growth stuff. Yeah, because growth here. Oh, I understand this now. So, sorry, this is what we call a learning day. So I see, like, if you got 3 growths, then you can add a new tag on, and then shade. Wait, shade. Does that mean if you get 3 shades that you have to replace the whole theme? So, like, you could have unlocked like 2 things, and then you shade 3 times, and then you have to get rid of this particular thing. That's wild. Dear oh dear. So, but you replace that with a new realness theme. Yes, that makes sense, because you're rejecting your call to be a hero. Every realness theme has a statement called an identity, which we see here. Yeah, absolutely. Describing something your character believes about her personal life. And a crack track with 3 boxes. You mark crack when your character's identity demands something of her, but she fails to deliver. If your character continues to ignore her identity and marks the 3rd crack box, you replace the theme with a new rainbow theme instead. If you ever replace all of your themes to rainbow, you become an icon for a short time and then burn out. If you ever replace all of your themes to realness, you become basic and lose touch with the rainbow. Read more about this in the basic box. Yeah, so that is very much like City of Mist. I mean, it's fine. I feel like it's a bit brutal. I'll be honest, like, you could just have some really bad rolls. Again, I think it's obviously with player consent and whatnot. I guess that seems wild to be like, here's some more tags. Wait, no, you can't. Like, you get to that point where you're just like, you've got all the tags, but then you do shade 3 times, and you're like, okay, well, you're no longer a drag queen. You're I don't know what. It's signature move. What was it? Signature move, fighting style, and Q equipment. Yeah, you get rid of drag queen and just get Q equipment, and it's like Sonic lipstick or something. I don't know. And does this link? Oh, that link works as well, and that gets alt text. Interesting. Story tags and statuses. So during the game, you may receive story tags, which can be used either as power or weakness tags, as well as statuses, which represent conditions that affect your ability to act. These elements are not part of your themes, but are still part of the character as they affect your actions. That great look from Teddy there, looking like a sand shrew. So how to play the game? Here we go. So Queerz is a cinematic role-playing game that is played as a conversation between the Master of Ceremonies, or MC, and the players who take on the role of the protagonists. The conversation starts with the MC setting for the first scene, so time and place, describing what is happening around your characters. And on your turn, called the Spotlight, you respond by A, saying what your character does, B, saying what your character says, and C, asking for more details about the scene. The other players do the same for their characters when they have the Spotlight. Sometimes you will roll dice and use the rules, oh that's in bold, to determine the outcome of your actions. The MC follows up by saying how the other non-player characters, NPCs, oh you see, I feel like, okay, if we're calling the characters Queerz, and obviously City of Mist has Master of Ceremonies as the GM title, which I love, big fan of that. We need to go the full hog. We need to go and say like, what are non-player characters? Are they basics? They're not, because they're going to have ignorance. So I feel like we need another term for like all the characters that the Master of Ceremony. It's probably it'd be just MCC characters, right? Master of Ceremony characters. I don't know. So they will respond and whatever else happens in the scene, to which you respond again, and so on until the scene is concluded and the next scene begins. There is no defined order to the conversation. Excuse me. As the host and director of the game, the MC passes the spotlight amongst the players, making sure everyone gets to talk and take actions as their characters. When a player has a spotlight, they can take actions as their character. Think of it as moving the camera between protagonists and making sure all of them get some screen time in the story. The MC can even cut between different scenes or action shots to add more suspense by switching between players, just like a TV show. And then it says up here, wait, no initiative roll? That's right, Queerz is played as a flowing conversation between MC and players. The MC, as the host, governs which players act next, giving the stage to one of the players. However, if a player wants their character to take their action before something else happens, the MC can ask them to make a be vulnerable move, see below, to see if they got the drop on the competition. Alright guys, are we ready? Ready for the actual game mechanic? Ugh! So, taking actions. Players, as the drama in your story unfolds, you want your character to take actions and influence the story in various ways. Interesting that we're talking directly to the players there, after all this time. Interesting. Player moves determine the outcome of your actions. Each move fits a different type of action or situation, such as fighting, supporting, inquiring, etc. These matching actions are described at the top of the move box under the title. Whenever a character takes an action in the story that matches the move is triggered, and all you need to do is roll for the move and follow its description to determine the outcome. That's called making a move. The opposite is true as well. Whenever you want to make a specific move, your character must take the action in the story that matches the move. So, again, very similar this sort of vibe is to Powered by the Apocalypse. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar if you've played one of those games. Okay, so to make a move, we have to describe what your character is about to do. You can get some ideas from your tags, what your character is good at, or if you can simply think of what's most suitable or exciting to do in the moment. And then it says, 2, choose a move that fits your action or ask the MC. And there are 7 core moves in this game. But we're not going to look at them just now, apparently. I'll go through this bit. 3, invoke relevant tags to determine the power of your action. So you scan your character's playbook for the tags relevant to the action. See the text box, so that's underneath here. Oh, the train is going past. Amazing. Each power tag that directly help. Ooh, I just pressed the button. That didn't help. Each power tag that directly helps you carries your action, increases your power by 1. Each weakness tag that directly impedes your action decreases your power by 1, but you get to mark growth on the theme of that weakness tag. The MC can choose to activate one or more of your weaknesses tags in this way, so you will get XP essentially if you do that growth thing. And then you have story tags, which can either increase or decrease the power by 1 as befitting the situation. The result is the power of your action. 4, factor in beneficial and impeding statuses. So if your character or the target of your move has statuses that can help or detract from the action, you add the tier of the highest beneficial status to your power, or subtract the tier of your highest impending status from your power. And then, and then it is when we just roll 2d6, add your power, whatever that results from here, and that's the result. This is called roll plus power. And the total is, and compared the total to, oh sorry, my brain just flipped on and off then. Compare the total to the move as explained in the move sheet to determine the outcome. So it's always going to be roll plus power. That's what you were putting together here. There you go, Evil Brad's got it. City of Mist derives from Powered by Your Pockets, but gives a +1 for each fitting description, aspect, or word. So that's that. You don't necessarily have statuses, so you don't have inbuilt character like get a +1 to charisma or strength because you chose you chose Teddy Wolf, you know. So core moves here. So when you as your character use abilities to do something risky, you become vulnerable. To heal someone or calm their inner space, you care. To understand what is going on or what someone is feeling, you get a clue. To avoid harm, attacks, or cruel words, you resist. To make a big, flashy attack or speech or otherwise impose a status on someone, you slay. To enter a fighting stance or boost an ally's confidence, you strike a pose. To work things out amicably with someone, you talk it out. Those are the 7 core moves. God, they're very cool and they're very thematic, absolutely. However, here's the 2 things I find here: strike a pose and slay. They feel very similar, right? And I think that was the same thing with City of Mist. There was like a rule, there was like a move for fighting, and then another one, and the other one was like go toe to toe. And it was like, when would you use go toe to toe versus the actual fight move, etc. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like having themed names for things. I just feel like, I think it's. Here's the thing. I wonder if we should have had like you slay, you resist, you care. I think everything should have had 3 words, like strike a pose. I like that. Talk it out. Get a clue. Become incredibly vulnerable, perhaps. I don't know. Show you care. Show you resist. I don't know. I like what it's done, but I think it needs to be the same number of words per move. Look at that. What a cool, like, absolutely fabulous. Is just cutting ribbons through this, whatever this ignorance sort of like blast is. It's very cool. I like it a lot. Outcome categories. Oh, let me move this a little bit so people can. Oh no, is it locked? No, it's not locked. What? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. There we go. All right. So I keep moving away from my camera. Outcome categories. Different moves have different outcomes, such as giving statuses to your target, empowering your teammates, discovering clues, or even allowing you to temporarily create new tags. So that's almost like creating aspects in Fate. However, all moves follow the same pattern. So both a 10 plus and a 7 to 9 are considered hits or a success. Scoring 10 or more is a great success, and 7 to 9 is a mild success or a success with mixed with a complication. Now, decide what you're calling it. Like, I'd call it like a success, maybe for ease, a minor success, a great success, or a success with a cost. You've covered it like several different times. Waste of words, I think, here. Scoring 6 or less is called a miss, and this implies that something disadvantageous happened instead of what you tried to do, or that a lot of things got a lot more complicated. A miss allows the MC to make one of their hard moves, usually against you. So for example, the MC could tell you that your character got into trouble, or give you an impending status. So yes, so again, and this comes to like soft moves and hard moves. Again, that comes from Powered by the Apocalypse as well. Burning a tag for a hit. So when your character performs a dramatic action that really matters to you, you have the option of burning a tag for a hit. So choose a tag relevant to the action that you're taking and scratch it out. Mark the burn icon next to it. You cannot use it again until you recover it during downtime. Burning a tag for a hit gives you a guaranteed result. So instead of rolling plus power for this move, was it previous? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. For some reason I thought it wasn't called power. I don't know. My brain. you would treat this move as if you rolled a total of 7 with a power of 3. No power or weakness tags can be applied to these numbers, but the status may increase or decrease your power as in step 4 above. Then you follow the move description as usual. I like that. You burn a resource and you become you are guaranteed at least a mixed result depending on how many weakness tags, all that sort of thing. Oh, not weakness tags, statuses. Sorry, statuses. So here we go. So how to decide if a tag is relevant. A tag can only be involved in a move if it directly helps or impedes the move's actions. So for example, throwing a punch, being strong helps the action, but being clumsy impedes the action, whilst being blue is irrelevant and so does not apply. Being smart or being brave, whilst related, do not directly help the act of punching. They can be used in a separate action before punching to find the opponent's weakness. This will be like get a clue or to shake off fear, care. If you still find you need more structure, the MC can introduce the optional rule of capping each roll at a maximum of 3 tags per roll. Power tags per roll. Oh, interesting. I would do that for sure. And then more tips to play on this. Okay, great. And if you burn all your tags, you become basic. No, I don't think so. If you burnt all your Rainbow Blast, Q Factor, Sparkle Wig, and Shock Silence, you just couldn't, you'd add, what's it, if you burnt all these things, say you burn them all on the same roll, 2d6 plus 3, it's just, you would recover them at the end of, when you rested. It's just you're using all your energy up now. I think you'd only become basic if you got the shade thing, you shade thing to 3, and then you replace it with a realness, not playbook, element, Just tired. Okay, yeah, exactly. I think otherwise it's going to be bloody brutal. You use all your powers in one big mission, and you go, right, well, I'm back to being just a normal drag queen. Wah. Here you go. Here's I remember statuses now. Oh no, I didn't like this at all. I remember it was so oh yeah, okay. So statuses reflect temporary conditions that can affect your character, such as sad 2, sticky 1, or hypnotize 5. Each status is composed of a tag and a tier, and the tag defines the nature of the status, whilst the tier defines how limiting and debilitating, or how enhancing the status is. So tiers 1 to 4 represent increasing levels of intensity of status. So mild, minor, major, dramatic. And at tier 5, the status is so damaging or intense that your character is out. You can't even attempt to take any actions affected by the status. If a status reaches tier 6, marked as MC, the character may turn into a villain. What? Enter a coma, permanently add or lose tags or even themes. The MC will decide what happens to your character, and it may not be good. So this is what you're talking about, Evil Bread. Okay, we're going to go into this a little bit more detail. Instantly, my brain thinks, why would I give tiers to this? If you can only add, I feel like if you're giving tiers to stuff, you should be able to add tiers to your stuff. So, for example, I'm going to add eleganza, extravaganza. Oh, but it's 2? Because all these things are only going to add 1, right? I feel like, oh yeah, you're still going to get, sad is 2, -2 or whatever. It's just, I understand what they're doing. But I'm just thinking for ease of running. I just feel like you should either be everything has but you're tired, so that's just a -1 rather than adding these things up. I don't know. I just feel but then I guess the problem with that is that you could have several statuses that stack, and that might be too much for the story, perhaps. I think, in that case, then I think you should have it as. I just feel there's too many tiers, 1 to 4, 5, and 6. I think you should have minor, major, and done, out. I know this is fine. Again, if you play it in game, I'm sure it's absolutely fine. But instantly, I'm just going oh no. This up until now is really simple, and then you've added these numbers on, and this is in City of Mists as well. So I'm not necessarily rubbishing Queerz here, but this is a City of Mist thing. And dislike it immensely. Okay, the tag of a status should be more or less matched in its tier and represents how debilitating or enhancing the status is. There can't be a dead 1 or a scratched 5 status, unless in a bizarre situation where being dead is very mild nuisance and being scratched is incapacitating. When the tier of a status changes, i.e. if it's cured or worsened, change the tag accordingly to match the new tier. Most statuses are ongoing. They remain in play until removed, see below. Note that some statuses are temporary. They affect only the next relevant action and then are removed. Statuses can compel your character to act accordingly. If your character is sad too, and they try to make a happy action, the statuses reduce their power by 2. If their character is depressed 5, they can't take any happy actions. I just feel like if you've got a game, and I know it's deliberately said this, it was different, but if if your villains are called ignorance, and ignorance is like ignorant 5, they can't do anything. I know that's not. I said that earlier. It's like you can have ignorance as possible, but this is the name of it, and yeah. Giving statuses. Some moves allow you to give a status to a target that you're trying to affect, for better or worse. The move determines the tier of the status, whilst you choose the tag of the status based on the nature of the action you took to create it. So if you give yourself or your allies a positive status, use strike oppose. To give your opponents a negative status or to make an impression or influence others, use slay. To overcome some challenges, you will need to give them statuses, using slay enough to reach their limit. So for example, to win the hearts of your audience, you slay, to give them wowed 4 or impressed 2. And to overcome a just a night, you must rainbow flash their ignorance by giving them shatter 3, for example. Each challenge has a different limit only the MC knows. And some are overcome by tier 1, so those pawns and small challenges, and others only at tier 6, super bosses and anything in between. You see, it feels like this adds so much more complication to it. To me, again, reading this, like, I don't see a problem with just saying, like, you just get adds 1 and it takes 2. Like, I don't understand why this is, I just feel like we don't need these tiers at all. It just feels like it's adding complications that we don't need. But what do I need? I know that's about the system itself. Okay, taking statuses. So when your character's about to take a status, if she can somehow avoid it or protect herself from it, you can use the resist move to reduce the tier of the status or ignore it completely. Otherwise, if you fail to resist, you take the full tier of the status. I mean, then it's like, well, if you didn't have tiers, you'd just get rid of this move of resist. And I'm like, yeah, we'll get rid of it then. Slim it down. So tracking statuses. When you give or you take a new status, take a tracking card and write down the tag and mark the tier. If you already have a status similar to the one you receive, they stack. Yes, I remember this now. Oh, this is what the tracking card looks like. Interesting. Okay. If a new status has a higher tier than the one you have, it replaces the existing tier. So, for example, Drowsy 3 replaces Tire 1. Yeah, I guess. Yes, very good. This game's all about wow. Like big smiley face. This is how you play. No, but we knew this was going to happen. I did say this before. Like, I have this thing about City of Abyss where I think it just overcomplicates things. Like that first part of it, I think it's dead straightforward and really interesting, and like, yeah, easy enough. And now it's like, god damn it. If the new status has the same tier as the one you have, it bumps it up one existing tier. So shamed goes up to tier 3 to be humiliated. But it's not even the same. Like, this is the thing. Why would you? It's not this. It's a status that's similar. Then why don't you just call it tired 3? Why don't you call it shamed 3 rather than humiliated 3? Like, why would you change the name of it? I feel like so. If a new status has a lower tier than a status, and it slowly adds pips to the existing status. Oh god, does it have pips in this game as well? Oh no. Until the next tier on the scale is reached. God, I remember this as well. So for example, you were already on shock free, and then you take 3 zapped 1 statuses, one after another. You mark the first box on the right of tier 3. This does not affect the tier yet. Then on the next box to the right, this does not affect the tier, and then the next box to the right of that, which is then tier 4. From this point on, the status has been upgraded to tier 4. The attack then changes accordingly to, presumably, electricity 4. You don't know? You don't know, text? Hang on, I'm going to look this up. Hang on, I'm just trying to think. If I go to, I'm going to see, because there was the tracking cards there, because it's not going to be on the character sheet. Yeah, it's not on the character sheet. This is the irritating thing. That sort of stuff is not on the character sheet, so it's like, all right, I'm going to open this up. Yeah, open it up. I wish to find these tracking cards, and I wish to look at it. Oh dear. Yes, take me to. All right, tracking cards, full color, please. Yeah, open it up. There we go. All right. Okay. Oh. Are you for real? So when it says pips, it's meaning these bits in between. Like, okay, sorry. Let me oh Lord, what have I done? Right. So I'm getting excited for no reason. Let me get the little pan hand. Let's zoom out a bit. Yeah, zoom out so people see. So look, if we looked at this one here, like looking at this tracking card here that you guys can see. So here we have tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In between tier 2 and 3, there's 1 pip, or 1 segment. Between 3 and 4, there's 2 segments. 4 and 5, there's 3. 5 and 6, there's 4. Those aren't pips, those are segments. Pips are like little circle things to me. So, and also then you're having these tracking cards, and so you could have several of these cards, and then you're combining cards like on the table in front of you. Oh, it's so complicated. Just have a normal sort of like again. You can have the color. Like I love the color. Don't get me wrong. Just have it. You could have several of these tracks on the same card, right? Am I being silly? Like I feel like this is again beautiful bit of design, and it's like, oh look, 4 our superheroes. But I'm like, well, we could have 3 of these tracks, you know, these tags, and because what if you're combining them? Oh, anyway. I dislike it. It's really messy. You need a tracking card for each new tag. Disaster display on a small table. Exactly that. And then if you're combining them as well, oh, it's just yeah. Again, you know what? Hang on. Let's. You know what? I like the idea. I like it because again, it fits in with the vibes. We're all about vibes here. Don't get me wrong. We love the idea, the setting of the game. But I just feel that this could have been done so much more efficiently. Also, obviously, this is just an image as well. So even then, I would still put this into, if I had like a tracker keeper, I'd have to remake this on the tracker keeper. Like there's no accessible way of doing it. Like there's no way for me to, I'd have to write it in. It'd be a form fillable thing. Like it's not like I can click these and they fill up. Oh no! But I like the color. I like the idea of the color of it like changing color as it's getting worse and worse and worse. So almost like a gauge, so to speak. So I like that. Oof. No, sorry. Why has it made it so complicated? I just feel like as well, like if you were playing this on a stream, like I feel like you absolutely should get statuses and conditions and like negatives to your rolls. To the powers. I get that. How on earth would I describe this on stream? Like, oh, so so what tags you got? Well, I'm sad, 2. I'm tired, 3. He goes, okay, oh, you took this damage. You're now drowsy, 4. Like, you need to keep it, I think you need to keep conditions really simplified just to get it across to the audience. Go, oh, shoot, I'm still tired, you know? Like, these, especially because it feels very much like the fate aspects, right? Where you could be like, you can invoke any of these things, but like, ooh, wowed 4, impressed 2, like they both mean the same thing to me, right? Oh, they are in awe of you. So impressed 4 is the same as wowed 4. You know what I mean? Oh. But still, I could make it better or design it in a cleaner way. I think that's it. It's in a cleaner way. That's what it is. I also feel like they're not pips, they're segments. Sorry, that's the British person in me. It's like, ah. I just feel like it's also it's just so it shows this, but then it's not showing as an example of like combining the two. Perhaps that's the other thing. Anyway, we're moving on from statuses. Sorry, I've got a little bit. It can go avalanche with statuses and tags real fast. Right, exactly that. Anyway, recovering from statuses, recovering from that. Oh, we've got 15 minutes of stream. All right, we'll finish this and we'll do story tags. We're not going to do core moves. I think we'll just end after the story tags because core moves I understand they're gonna describe it in a bit more detail. So, recovering from statuses. Statuses can be reduced or removed by using the care move. This represents shaking off the fear, healing an ally, etc. Statuses can also be removed during downtime using the downtime move. The MC determines which of your statuses you can reduce and how much by. Oh, so grateful. Finally, statuses can be removed by the MC when they narratively expire. That is, when they no longer make sense in the story. So, for example, the MC can remove prone 1 once the character has a chance to stand up unhindered. I think, you know what, maybe that's the thing I'm having a problem with. Tiers of stuff, if you can visually see it, I think that's okay. Because I understand, okay, I'm willing to take that. What I do feel is the different names of like, oh, you've been shocked and now you got zapped. I think just, you need like a list of very streamlined, like tired, prone, grappled. You know, you need the conditions, you know, poisoned, all that stuff from D&D. Just because otherwise it's like, oh, well, is zapped the same as shocked? You know, I guess it's trying to emphasize that, oh, the higher up the scale you go, the more damaging it is. I think like shocked 4 is enough. You know, you're like, yeah, that's pretty bad. You can visually see it. Anyway, story tags. We have strike a pose allows you to create new tags called story tags. The MC can also create story tags whenever it seems appropriate. These are used just like power and weakness tags. They are relevant to a move and they affect its power for better, +1, or for worse, -1 in whatever way seems appropriate. Unlike weakness tags, however, they do not earn you growth, even if they decrease your action's power. Story tags can be used to describe 2 types of story element. Temporary abilities, qualities, perks, and outfits, and items possessed by your character, like a new outfit you picked up, a battle stance you adopted, the ability to read minds bestowed upon you, or independent objects, beings, concepts, or effects included in a scene, a quality of an environment such as blinding staging lights, a person or entity who is present at the scene, such as a gaggle of drag queens. The bartender, an item that is readily available such as a disco record or a pink convertible. I always have my pink convertible with me. Or even a force or concept present at the scene such as an aura of protection or the hard knock life. When you write a story tag, write it on a tracking card and hand it to the person who owns it, or place it in the middle of the table if it's communal and exists independently of the scene. So yeah, those aspects to each other. Wait, do story tags, they only get like, why would you put them on a tracking card? They're not a status, right? They're just, so they don't have levels. There's no point in putting levels on it. I feel like any tags in general just have a -1 or whatever. It's the statuses that have a minuses. Most story tags are temporary, but it means that they can be used once and cannot be burnt for a hit. That is fair enough. Story tags that can be made ongoing, such as by strike pose move, can be used multiple times and expire when it makes sense in the story. They can also be burned for a hit like power tags, but when burnt, they are removed from play. Oh, look at this. Is it a status or is it a story tag? When you need to describe something in a story using the rules, it's almost always either a story tag or a status, but how to decide which is which? Tags are used to describe people, objects, and their essential qualities and nature, such as abilities, strengths, weaknesses, possibilities, etc. Tags never represent the current state of a person or object. Right, so yes, your actual conditions is what it's sort of saying here. Conversely, statuses can always represent conditions, that's what I just said, the current state of a person or object. Statuses can never represent a person, object, or essential qualities. There cannot be a status of shoes 2 or smart 5. I guess that's the difference, right? That's the difference. They're trying to make it clear that it's conditions rather than like tags that you can burn. And often it sounds like it's going to be, if better, it's both. Book's overcomplicated. Okay. What we'll do, we'll have a quick flick through. Again, we're not going to read through the core moves. Again, we can do this around time. I think we've got a good... Oh, God, you can see their side effects. Sweaty 2, laughing stock 1, being vulnerable. care. Here, get a clue, learn new information, resist. I do like how, again, the most important information is in this sort of like, this sort of text block, sort of like a piece of paper-esque, and everything else is like text here. And then some examples as well. That's great. Oh, look. Teddy Wolf needs to resist a siren squad's latest piece of cheesecake and gets the status of bloated too. Teddy, I give you permission to eat that cheesecake. We've got the sleigh there, the sleigh move, strike a pose, talk it out, and then some other moves, and then we've got downtime and meaningful choices, and then it goes into MC rules, which we won't look at here. What I will say, again, I'll just flick through. There's some absolutely, look at this cracking artwork, by the way, of clearly whoever's infected with the ignorance star mask. Gorgeous, love that. Well, that's the character I want to play. This sort of a lady with curled grey hair and great Dame Edna glasses, big pearls, and then drinks. Amazing. That's what I want. So I'm just quickly watching. Oh gosh, let's just say that the artwork is gorgeous, isn't it? I love that. Oh, look at that cracking of the mask there and that image there. And there's stuff about ignorance here, which again we're not going to have time to look at today. And then, oh, I think that is that's the demo adventure there at the end, which we weren't looking to. But there you go. That is our quick, as always, like brief run through of Queerz, the RPG. What did we think? What's our vibes? I really like the setting. You know what? I'm all for, we're here, we're queer, LGBTQ plus, etc. Yeah, I like how it doesn't take itself so seriously, but could, is combating, let's face it, quite a serious subject matter. And I quite like how it was sort of very open in like, hey, this game's for everyone. If you're a bigot, good luck. If you're ignorant, sorry. But also if you're like, well, I don't want to do this. I'm not so sure about this. It's like that's okay too. So I quite appreciate the openness of that. I mean, 5 stars for the artwork. Like I know again, it's based on the work of a manga artist, but you know what? I feel like all the artwork and all the layout of it feels very justified. I mean, there's places where it's not particularly like when like this first page here. I know I'm being very, very like nitpicky about this stuff, but I feel like the images here, there's a different way to put this table of contents, especially because you have the table of contents subheading over the top of this. I think, but all the images use up all the space, which is nice. I think the layout of like the 2 columns actually works well. I think the writing is actually really good. It's very easy to read and easy for me to read aloud as well. Like I know I'm not the best sight reader in the world, but I got what it's saying about. It feels really good. The art is beautiful and really adds to the page. Like this, let's face it, this page here come Queerz, page 6 in the book. Like it's only 1 column, but they've used this sort of splash image and sort of made it a part of the thing, and then like laid the text around it. Love that. That's great. I wish that more games could do that. I mean, here you've got a bit of a the queer demo text here is not is a bit hidden, but I think it's done really well in terms of layout. And it's also, I think it's shown off some really key bits of art as well. Of course, the downside to that is that there's no alt text, which is unfortunate. I like the cover. Like I said in the Kickstarter, it doesn't show the cover as the main image, and I think that's a big shame. Because I feel like this image sums it all up. That Power Rangers feel, the Sailor Moon sort of vibe of it. What's it say here? Well, the Kickstarter promo gameplay should have come with a warning that this is a representation of how convoluted your brain will be trying to play it. Amazing. I disagree with it. The art is sometimes over the top for this book. I mean, you know what? I wonder. I like the art because I think it's good. It's based on a manga. It has to do that. I wonder if I like it. I think I would like the alt text. That's the main thing I have about it. I don't think it's over the top. I think it's. You wouldn't be able to print it out, would you? I think if you'd have a screen reader, if you had a black and white text with no art, but again had the alt text, I think that would also equally work as well. I don't have an issue with that. I was going to say, I do think, again, this is, I think if anything, I will go and have a read of the first free issue, which you can get with the download, to see if if how close to London it is. I like the fact that it is actually based in London. That's made it, endeared it to me. But because I didn't, again, that's not what I expected from that sort of thing. But it is one of the queer capitals of the world. So maybe that's what they're trying to pull from the vibes of that as well. So I think that's quite cool in terms of that. I feel hang on, I prefer something that fits with the style, but also easy to read and look at. I mean, most of the tag cards and the character sheets. Right. Well, that is a good point. So if looking over the character sheets, like, let's face it, the character sheets are gorgeous. I do like them. I will say, again, not screen readable, impossible to edit. But again, I know. There's that link at the bottom there. Oh, you guys can't see it. There's a link at the bottom to the Kickstarter that also doesn't work. None of this is screen readable, which is unfortunate. I think, again, we always should make these things screen readable just in case. And if you're able to do it, make them form fillable as well. I know these things take time, but like if you want people to do pre-gen characters, you look at this and you go, great, well, how am I supposed to do this? So that's why I always say, I always am enamored when people do, here is a Google Sheets tracker keeper of all the stuff. Here's a VTT that we've made with all the stuff in it, and it's free to try out and test out. I'm like, absolute tick on that front. But yeah, let's talk about this, like this tracking card system. Like, maybe again, I will admit I've not played City of Mists. I've created a character in City of Mist, which took me way too long. I just feel like I think maybe once you play it, maybe you get the sense of the statuses and the minuses of player. I just feel you just need to make it simpler. You need to have 10 conditions total, or a unique one, and they can go all the way up. If you want to have tiers, fine, you can have the tiers, but don't be doing this sort of like, oh well, you got electrocuted, you got this. Because I just feel like it just ends up with lots of chatting about like, oh, what would this then combine with this one? And because what if you're tired and you get zapped? And you got, I don't know, electrocuted 4, and you go, well, does that affect me being tired? Probably does. Zaps the energy, that's the sort of thing. Again, sensible GMs wouldn't do that, but I just know that's a sort of conversation that would bog down play for me. I also, I'm not a big fan of the tracking card itself. Like, it looks pretty, it just feels like a waste of paper. Like I said, like I think just you can have like the square look to it here, but then having several ones in a row, just so you're not, like as someone said in the chat, not covering your whole desktop or your small, presumably coffee table you're playing this game on. Would I run this for where? And the answer is I love the setting. I feel like if anything, what I've got from the free demo game is that I definitely want to read more about it. I definitely will check out that manga for sure. I feel like I'd like to run it for where. And I think taking in mind, again, maybe having you think about like what kind of characters we can bring to it. I actually don't know if I would use the demo game. Now I say that without actually reading into like the manga itself or the actual adventure. I would because I just thinking again, the biggest comparison we're going to put to this game is Masks, right? The young superheroes who are dealing with their everyday lives, and then also being a superhero, as well as City of Mist. And I feel like that it's more fun to make up your own characters for what kind of hero you want to be. Like here it's like, okay, you could be one of the Sailor Scouts, or do you want to be Blue Ranger or Green Ranger? I think those are the vibes I would go for rather than picking a pre-gen one. I don't know. That's what I would do for Where, and that's not often I do that for Where. I often like use the the demo and the pre-gen stuff. I think here I'm like, I would feel confident, or not confident, I would encourage the players to create their own characters and go from there, because I think that is more interesting, perhaps. So then I would have to get the core game so that people could actually make their rainbow and realness, like, can swap them in and out, so to speak. Imagine you, as a GM, have to track 5 tags for each player 4 times. Well, that's it, isn't it? It ends up being the players have to make a note of it, right? So 20 tags despite your monsters and other NPCs, because players often forget what tags they have between scenes. Right, exactly. So it's, again, having to constantly check in. And I mean, I'm the same as well. Like, I forget what my character does, etc. But yeah, I like tags. I think we just need to simplify it a lot more. And I know they are simplified in Legends of Mist a lot more. Or I think, well, it's focused on the tags more. I think they get rid of Powered by the Apocalypse sort of moves, don't they? I think that's what it is. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've covered it. But there you go. That is Queerz, the RPG. I mean, I've enjoyed talking about this one. It's been really nice to look through it. Again, it's a game I might have not picked up if I hadn't had the number randomly generated for me. So go check it out. You know, it's always good to support, you know, LGBTQ content, certainly in the life and time that we are living in now, when it can be a little bit scary. And so it's, you know, this was actually a delightful sort of like a little bit of sunshine in what would have been, well, a very snowy, cold day. So go check it out. You know, go check out the base game if you so wish to. All right. Thank you, folks, so much. Oh, nice chat as usual. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Let me do the usual sort of outros and whatnot. Go check out What Am I Rolling, a twice monthly tabletop RPG one-shot podcast. It's on this very channel. We have done a couple of live streams over on the One Shot podcast Twitch channel recently. We did Monty Python last month, but we also just did Prequel, which is a tactical storytelling game of heroic sacrifice, which I think went well overall. The VOD for it is also out here on this channel, and the audio of that will go out on Sunday, which is very nice. And they're very close to filling, I think, the 5,000 goal, which is nice. And I really like James Quigley and Ethan Yen, who are the designers behind it. I think they've made a very interesting and different game. Whether it works online is a different question, but no, I'll go check that out. And we've got a few more game designer interviews coming up, and hopefully doing some more live streams of actual plays coming up as well. What else? If you're like Fiona, I only care about D&D. This Queerz stuff sounds great, but what about D&D? Well, we do Dungeons and Dragons as well. It's the DM's Book Club, a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons and Dragons and discuss how we might include them in our role-playing campaigns. We do lots of different topics. We recently, speaking of other RPGs, as of yesterday, we put out an episode on Blades in the Dark with the wonderful Michelle Kelly. Oh, excuse me. Who's done a great series of Blades in the Dark over on Euphoria. And I actually played recently, this is completely beside the point, I played a playtest of Blades 68, the new sort of supplement for Blades in the Dark. So what if Blades in the Dark, but 100 years in the future from the point of the past? It's the swinging 60s. And you know what? It's really solid. I've been really enjoying my character. We haven't done anything particularly different in the playtest, but I've just been really enjoying it. So yeah, go check those out. What else can I say? If people want to check out Ttrpgs, is that the RP Geeks? Oh, look at that Nightbot straight on it. So yes, I'm 1/3 of the RP Geeks, which is a nerdy TTRPG show with epic stories and fascinating facts. We are slowly transitioning over to YouTube. I think that's going to be us for the foreseeable future. So go check us out on the link tree there. We've got some new shows coming up. We recently, on Tuesday, we did our Valentine's version of Paranoia with the wonderful Naomi Clark. We had 8 people on the call. It was great fun. Really enjoyed that. And then last week we did... What did we do last week? We did Nibiru last week. I say last week? Yes, it was last week. God, it's time is a big soup. Nibiru, which is a great game. Really enjoyed that game. And then looking ahead, we've got a 2-shot coming up of Mappamundi, which is like an ecological exploration TTRPG with myself and Sharmini, run by the wonderful Emily Bates. And yeah, there's more stuff coming up, so go check out their stuff. It's really good fun. Is there anything else I want to say? I mean, I'll attempt to tell you what we've got coming up next week when I'm actually going to be here, and hopefully can do some stuff. So next Tuesday, God willing, fingers crossed, we're going to do Vas Grim, which is it's oozing with infectious horrors. Between the covers, everything you need to start playing in this crumbling universe. That's all I've got in terms of text, so that'll be fun. And then Tuesday next week, hopefully can do this one, because I can't remember if my partner is home, because we're going to be heading off to a convention that Tuesday night, or Thursday night. So next Thursday, the 20th, we're going to be looking at Beam Saber. It is a Forge in the Dark game about pilots of powerful machines in a war that dominates every facet of life. So big robots then, perhaps. They are trying to do their part and then get out physically and mentally intact. The organizations that perpetrate the war throughout all of known space are too incomprehensibly huge to take down. There is no winning the war, there is only surviving it, and hopefully you can help others get out too. So there you go, Beam Saber next Thursday, Vas Grim Tuesday, and Beam Saber Thursday, both at 11 a.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. BST. And then we've also got, like I said, Mappamundi next Tuesday at 7. So Excellent, excellent. Monster Manual 25? Well, I should be getting my copy soon. I will say that. Maybe we'll talk about that at DM's Book Club at some point. Alright, friends, thank you so much for watching. I very much appreciate it. Keep safe, keep well, read more games, and I will see you next time. Have a good week. Find the end of stream button.